Hey folks, Pat here from DNS, and this Madison area fishing report is current as of Friday, October 24th. Well, happy Friday, everybody. We made it through another week, and we really do have a lot of stuff to talk about. Been kind of busy here, so let's see if we can get through this. The Root River Report, the DNR puts out every week at their Steelhead facility over there on the Root River in Racine. It looks like the Cohos still have a commanding lead over the Kings, but, we got some rain last week, and the Kings are pushing up. I was over there last weekend in the Milwaukee River and definitely saw a lot more fish up than had been in weeks past. I think if they got a little bit more rain, we'd get more. The rest of the fish would push up. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll talk more about the salmon and steelhead and brown trout run and my Happy Fly Day feature at the end of this report. The turnover is a big question that a lot of people have. I probably had 8 calls yesterday, folks asking if the lakes had turned over. A lot of people coming in the shop asking about it. So, the only real resource we have to know for sure is the Lake Mendota buoy. And if you look at it right now, everything's basically 58 degrees all the way down. And so when the temps are the same all the way down, that indicates that turnover has happened. The only thing that's weird about this is that usually we're looking at low 50s or so, maybe up to like 54 or something temps before the lakes flip. And so these are 58, so I don't know, it's a little weird. The Mendota buoys had some technical problems in the past. Maybe that has something to do with it. I guess I'm a little suspect of Mendota being turned over. That being said, I heard Kegonsa was at 55 degrees yesterday. I was just texting with Noah Humfeld. He said he has Wabisa at 54, and he said there's a bunch of gross stuff kind of floating around, so he thinks that lake has flipped. I guess just stay tuned and we'll do our best. I'm waiting on an email back from the limnology folks to see what they think about this 58 degrees all the way down. But either way, after this next week, it's going to be pretty chilly at night, especially. So I bet maybe by next weekend, we're looking at all of our lakes will have been flipped by then. And then of course, we're looking at some of the best fishing of the year. So definitely looking forward to that. Want to thank the Capital City chapter of Muskies Inc. They were out just this morning at the Olin boat launch on Lake Monona, stocking more muskies in the chain. So they dropped off 50 Leech Lake strain muskies. So these Lakers are from Leech Lake, Minnesota. They're a different strain of muskie that grows faster and bigger than our Wisconsin muskies. So a lot of the muskie folks are big fans of these fish. And just want to thank the chapter for improving our fishery, and I would encourage anybody to join their group or support them any way that you can. Trout Unlimited, another great group, does great work, is having another work day tomorrow, the 25th. This time they're out in DeForest, so I guess the cat's out of the bag now. It's been news here for a year or two. The Yahara River has trout in it, up in DeForest. The DNR, was doing some surveying up there the last couple of years and was shocked to find good populations of trout. In fact, reproducing populations of trout. So they've reclassified the upper sections of the Yahara River as trout water officially, and now the DNR, the city of DeForest, and Trout Unlimited are all kind of teaming up to kind of restore that stream, do some stream work up there. Part of that is getting that started, is having some volunteers come in and clear out brush. So tomorrow, 9 a.m. to noon, they're going to be meeting out here. So here we are in DeForest. You can see there's DeForest. They're going to be meeting just off Innovation Way, which is kind of, I guess, if you can find the river, you'll find it. There aren't too many bridges that cross there. But anyway, Innovation Drive. You park over here, I guess, and then they're going to be shuttling people downstream, and then they're going to be working upstream. So if you get there at 9 o'clock, you can catch a shuttle back and forth. Otherwise, you can just walk down the bike path. It's not horrible to get down there, and I'm sure you'll hear the chainsaws and all the work going on. But anyway, very exciting to have another trout stream this close to Madison, and really happy that Trout Unlimited is kind of taking the lead here, getting some of this work started, and big thanks to the city of DeForest and of course the DNR for all their work in restoring this. It's going to be great. What else? We got shop news. If you walk in right now, you might see this. No, we are not going out of business. We are switching out to ice stuff. So we still got a ton of actually most of our summer stuff still out here. We just kind of tuck it off in the corner, and then we put up our winter stuff. So don't be alarmed if you come in and see the shelves looking a little bare for the next weekend or so. Kevin, everybody knows Kevin here at the shop. He makes awesome long rods for panfish. He is raffling off one of his rods here at the shop. These are fantastic rods. I own several, and we sell the heck out of them. So they're very popular. You can swing by, and we're raffling one off to benefit Josie's Gift, which is they do a kids fishing day. It's in honor of girl Josie who died of cancer, and this group builds rods. It's a group of rod builders that get really nice fishing rods into the hands of some of these kids, to help them get through cancer and help them pick up another hobby. And this is a fundraiser for that event. So swing in the shop. $5 gets you a ticket. We will be drawing that on the last day of our spring seminar series, which will be December 18th. Brian Zuke is going to be talking, and I'm just wrapping up the rest of the details on those seminars, so I'll get to that. I'll be announcing all that really soon. Musky suckers. I'm actually out right now, but the bait truck is on his way, so I'll have musky suckers through the weekend. Swing in and grab some. We got salmon stuff, beads and soft beads, and we got flies, anything you need to get out on the water. Of course, spoons and spinners and crankbaits. If you're using spinning gear, swing on in and get that. Head over to the East Coast and make some magic happen. A couple announcements on the front door. We got the Jam for Cans event that we donate a rod and reel combo to benefit food pantries, November 8th at the Cottage Grove Road, VFW. Trunk or Treat just up the road here, 3 to 5 on Sunday, the 26th. The line workers group is back up to having social fly tying nights. They're going to be doing these again at Icky Sticky right in Mount Horeb, kind of right on the main drag there, once a month, November through February. Thanks to them for getting folks together. And this yellow poster here again is just free tickets for the free Thanksgiving meal up the street at the church. So got that going on. I think we can just get right into the report. So it's definitely starting to feel like fall out there. I tell you what, it's really chilly this morning, and which is great. That's bringing the water temps down. Like I said, the buoy was reading 58 degrees, which is 4 degrees cooler than it was this time last week. The weekend looks pretty nice as far as weather goes, 50 to 60 degrees. Cool temps through next week, and like I said, I don't think turnover is going to be too far away. And like I said, with that happening, water quality right now on the chain is good, but every time lake flips, it can be kind of gross out there for a couple days. I'll try to keep you posted on that. It'll probably happen midweek, of course, when I'm not doing my report. But anyways, you can always call the shop and we can let you know what we heard. But from what I know right now, NOAA said that Wabisa looked like it had flipped overnight. I wouldn't be surprised if Kiganza did the same then, because it was running kind of cool yesterday. Monona's probably a little bit warmer, and of course Mendota's running at 58 degrees, and I guess it's still up for debate whether or not it has flipped. But as the water does continue to cool, we will see more and more fish transitioning into their fall patterns. Toothy fish have their fall feed bag on and are looking for larger meals to bulk up for winter. Other game fish like bass and walleye are starting to move shallow, especially at night. But daytime, you can also get on a good bite, especially on cloudy days, maybe with a little chop on the water. And the panfish are starting to move off kind of their main lake areas and seeking the safety of weedy bays and weedy areas. With the shorter days, the weeds do continue to die back, but they're still in pretty good shape across the chain from what I hear. As those weeds patches get smaller and smaller, that'll kind of concentrate the fish and whatever weeds remain. So I guess my point is, as we move into fall here, if you can find weeds, you'll likely find fish. The weeds are still in good shape in many shallow areas around town, so shore fishing for panfish can be a bit of a challenge, but you can find pockets in the weeds or just keep your bait above the weeds, because a lot of them are subsurface now. You should be able to find fish. If you're in a boat, though, fishing the outside weed edge is good for most species, especially bluegills. Gills are still on mid-lake humps in good numbers, but they will or are starting to move shallow. Either way, for any gills you fish, spikes and waxworms on a nice jig are great. Redworms on a little bit bigger jig is also a great option. The crappie bite sounds like it is starting to pick up in a few places around town. If you're targeting crappies, crappie minnows, or small minnow-shaped plastics on a jig, either under a bobber or right off the side of the boat, is a pretty safe bet. The perch front remains quiet. I hear about fish being picked up here and there, just like all summer, but nothing impressive and certainly not consistent. But weed lines are a good place to start for those fish, and redworms, pretty good. Safe bet for bait. Largemouth bass have been in shallow weeds all summer long, and they're still there. And any number of presentations like weedless plastics and topwater frogs have been working and will still work. But don't be afraid to toss lipless crankbaits, chatterbaits, paddle tails, and stuff like that. As the weeds die back, those kind of lures are more manageable and definitely effective. Toss those same lures for smallmouth bass, especially when they're up shallow early and late in the day. Use slower presentations when they move deeper out to like 10, 15 feet of water, rocky areas during the day. If you're working lures, you might as well toss out a slip bobber with a black-tailed chub on it, maybe a large shiner. Those fish are looking for an easy meal this time of year, and yeah, it's a great way to kind of double your chances out there. The walleye bite around town continues to improve. I'm hearing more and more about action from shorebound anglers at night. I was just out last night and got into some fish, so they're definitely out there. Jerk baits work great. Paddle tails are awesome. If you're in a boat and can find weeds near rocky shoreline breaks or near shallow flats, is where I'd start during the day anyway. Move up on those shallow flats during low light periods. Otherwise, mid-lake humps continue to be very productive as well. Here again, whether you're working lures from shore or in a boat, you should definitely consider throwing out some type of a, some meaty option for those fish, like a blacktail chub under a slip bobber, is great to improve your chances this time of year. If it's pike you're after, they'll grab just about any lure you throw at them, but our large shiners or pike mix suckers are a great choice. Musky action is definitely improving. Noah Humfeld's still putting some great fish in the boat for his clients lately. That action is only going to get better as the water temps continue to fall. And like I said, we have musky suckers in stock, and we'll do our best to keep them in stock as long as we can. Inland trout is closed, but I'll talk more about the salmon when we get to the end of the report in my Happy Fly Day feature. Otherwise, we can just go through some spots here quick. Cherokee, I drove by there the other day. You can't really see weeds, but they're just underneath the surface, so pan fishing's probably pretty tough, but a topwater lure probably get you some bass and some pike. Otherwise, if you can put in at School Road, as always, get out in the channel and have some easier casting, and you'll find bass, small pike, and panfish up there. 113 Bridge has been seeing some good panfish action. Lots of bluegills and occasional schools of crappies swimming through there. You never know what you'll find down there, bass, pike, maybe a catfish. The catfish are still out in Lake Mendota where they'll remain all winter, but they're just kind of cruising around now, eating whatever they can find. And, cut bait seems to be outproducing worms now. For those fish. Otherwise, I'm in Mendota. Reports I hear is that Mendota's very clear right now. The weed lines will likely get you a nice mixed bag of fish, especially bluegills, but I'm hearing about good numbers and size of gills on mid-lake humps. You might stumble upon a crappie on a weed line. I don't hear about many, but the perch bite also remains slow, with folks running into a few fish here and there, mostly on weed edges, but also out to as deep as 20 feet of water, I've heard. Largemouth bass are up shallow in the weeds. Look to rocky shoreline areas for smallmouth bass. Like I said in the intro, the walleye bite continues to improve. Folks are picking fish up shallow for sure, especially at night. But mid-lake humps are still very productive. Walleyes are out there hanging with the bluegills. So you got Dunn's Bar, Brearley Bar, Second Point, Commodore. But don't stay away from areas like Fox Bluff, Picnic Point. Maple Bluff, Governor's Island, all those rocky areas not only have smallmouth on them, but also walleyes. Otherwise, pike are pretty much everywhere. Weed lines are a good place to start, but they're also moving up shallower. I'd stay away from deeper water and focus on shallow water. Tenny Park breakwalls had a nice mixed bag of fish over here. Of course, there's always good walleye fishing there at night, but during the day, a nice mixed bag of fish. The action in the river has been a little slow. I haven't heard the bluegill guys. It sounds like things have been slow for them that fish below the locks here. And the walleye should be starting to push up in there, although I haven't heard any reports specifically. Same thing down here where the river dumps in. Great walleye spot down there. Otherwise, on Lake Monona, you're looking for weed edges to find bluegills. The bite for bluegills off the wall over here at the Monona Terrace has slowed from what I hear. A lot of those fish are probably moving into Monona Bay, which happens this time of year. I also hear crappies are starting to move in there. The crappies I'm hearing about are mostly small, and the bigger fish are bound to move in. But they are still getting crappies off the Monona Terrace wall as well. Otherwise, if you're looking for bluegills on Lake Monona, like I said, weed edges, mid-lake humps are still holding fish, and shallow bays, Weechawuk, Turville Bay are all good options. Otherwise, over to Lake Wingra, a bunch of tiny gills in there, good bass population, and the weeds are coming back, so musky fishing's probably more feasible now. Below the Wingra Dams, always got a nice mixed bag of fish. I guess speaking of muskies, the muskie action out in Lake Monona has been pretty good, and will only get better as we move into fall. Haven't heard much about walleyes yet out here, but pretty soon the city shoreline should start lighting up with some good walleye action, especially at night. Moving down the chain, we got Upper Mud. Dredge Hole is a great spot for panfish. Find the weed edge out there. Otherwise, bass in these shallow flats around here, and as those weed beds get smaller, the bass will start to congregate on them even more and more, making them easier to find. Otherwise, down in Wabisa, a lot of gills in the shallow weeds, especially on the north and south ends, but anywhere you can find weeds, you'll probably find panfish. Also shallow bass up shallow in the weeds. Walleye, I've heard about some action, as always, kind of down here, Rockford Heights, Babcock, Bible Camp, Shoreline, all along here. Nice breaks out here. You find some walleyes. Heard about some crappies mixed in out there too. Um, and yeah, I guess haven't heard much about muskies specifically down on Wabusa, but they're definitely down there. And down on Kegonsa, the gill bite continues to be good. I hear, find a weed edge, but don't be afraid to work out from the weed edge. I've heard about fish out to as deep as like 15, 17 feet, even on the bottom and suspended out there. But some good action for that. Of course, the white bass action continues down there. And if you can find them, the gulls diving on diving on schools of bait fish, you'll likely find the white bass kind of corralling those fish underneath. And some really nice size fish in there too. I haven't heard much about walleye or any other species really off Kegonsa, just the good bluegill bite and white bass down there. Otherwise, places like the Rock River, Indian Ford, I've heard about some walleyes and some white bass down there. Koshkonong sounds like they're getting some fish trolling, mostly up here on the north end. I have heard about some fish up in the Black Hawk Island area, so up in the river. Sounds like still some white bass action happening in the Fort Atkinson area, and then a nice mixed bag of fish at the Jefferson Dam, including a good catfish bite. Catfish bite up at Beaver Dam continues to be good. Devil's Lake over here, the fish are still, I heard, suspended, but I would imagine they're going to start moving in here any day now, especially with these cold nights. I bet you're going to start seeing some fish, maybe even this week, starting to cruise the shorelines over there. Fishing on the river has been good. The fish still have their fall feedbag on. Look for smallies busting minnows on the top, chasing around big schools of shad. Look to any deeper area you can find below sandbars, below bridge, pilings. Any riffles, anything below that's going to be good. Otherwise, dams, always a nice mixed bag of fish there. Up and down any river, really. Just focus on dams in the fall and you'll find fish. Lake Wisconsin sounds like it's been a little slow up there. Actually, I mean, the bite's been good, but size has been an issue for saugers and walleyes. Bass bite's been slow from what I hear. Panfish bite's been picking up in some of your shallow bays, like Oakey and the Grade and stuff like that. So, and that bite should only get better too as we move into fall. Otherwise, dams up and down the river. You got Dells, you got Petenwell and Castle Rock. Castle Rock Dam, great musky spot over there. I haven't heard much off the river. It sounds like the folks at the Clements Barge out of Genoa are getting some good walleyes and a nice mixed bag of fish up there. And the perch are starting to move in too, I heard. Otherwise, like I mentioned, we got salmon running up the tributaries up and down the east coast here. Any river you pick, you're going to likely find some salmon up there right now, which is very exciting. They're certainly impressive fish. Right behind those fish, you're going to start seeing the steelhead and browns. I know Harley was over on the coast over here yesterday. He caught a steelhead yesterday, and the day before he got a brown. And of course, you got kings and cohos mixed in there too. So great time of year to be over there. Very exciting. And swing in the shop. We got all the stuff to get you hooked up. If I'm working or Harley's working, we can kind of try to point you in the right direction if you got any questions. But that run should be, the kings will last, certainly through the end of the month. And then you got cohos in November, and of course steelhead and brown. So it's great time to be out there. And like I said, for our Happy Fly Day feature, I guess, to make it official, we got all the salmon stuff you need. We do have bigger flies. I forgot to post on our pictures here if you want to chase toothy critters. But yeah, swing in and check it out. That pretty much does it for the report. I do want to thank you for tuning in. Feel free to call the shop at 241-4225 if you want us to expand on anything. Happy to do that. Do post your comments and catches below. Love to see what's going on out there for you guys and any conditions. If if the lake's turned over, give me lake temps. Give me anything you got. Happy to get all that information. But thanks again for tuning in. Good luck out there, and we will talk to you next week. Oh, and good luck to all the hunters that are getting out in the woods. Take care.